the brutal death of a villain, skeleton of a thirsty prisoner, and a puppet used for firewood. These are the 10 scariest things found in Disney movies. Number 10. Ursula's death, The Little Mermaid. The Little Mermaid left some of us more terrified than ever. Ursula was a proper bad guy who was scary to us with her many tentacles and bold face. But what we weren't prepared for was how she died. Here's a refresher. Ursula steals the magic trident from King Triton and turns into a terrifying giant. It's the biggest thing you'll see in the entire movie. And just as she tries to attack Ariel and Prince Eric's ship, he drives the boat into her stomach, so the pointy end stabs Ursula and bursts out of her back. It wasn't that Prince Eric killed a bad guy, it was that we saw all of it happen. Disney usually hides blood and bad stuff from kids, but they went all out here. We see how the bow spirit stabs into her skin and comes out the other end. It's fast and sharp, and we hear Ursula scream out in pain before dying. We even see her get electrocuted, which shows her skeleton and the bow spirit running through it. We watched as she slowly sank to the bottom of the sea, never to be seen again. And the movie just moved on to Ariel's happily ever life like nothing happened. Of course, Ursula wasn't the best person in the entire cartoon. She does some pretty creepy things, like the song from when Ariel traded her voice for legs. We still see her menacing smile when we close our eyes. Also, she beat King Triton to steal his powers and turn herself into a larger-than-life monster. But she didn't deserve to die that way, not to us at least. Number 9. Thirsty Skeleton, Snow White. Snow White contains a lot of creepy things. It's hard to keep up, but one part that still strikes us today is the scene of the wicked queen changing into an ugly old witch. Like that wasn't bad enough, we also got to see something pretty disturbing in the background. Just as the queen, now a witch, runs through the dungeons of the castle to get into the woods and fish out Snow White, we see a skeleton in a cage. The skeleton's arm is outside the cage and reaching for a jug. And just as the witch goes by, she kicks the jug away, cackling in a creepy voice. The jug knocks the skeleton into the cage and shatters, and a spider runs out of it. "Thirsty?" she asked in a mocking tone. "Have a drink." This scene gave us a lot to think about. Do you know how long it took the prisoner to die of thirst? And they were there all the time trying to reach the jug for a drink, but couldn't. It shows that the queen was always looking for new ways to kill people she didn't like. And that scene was too much for our little minds to manage. Even as adults now, it's still a pretty creepy scene. Number 8. Puppet Firewood, Pinocchio. A lot of things happened in Pinocchio, but one thing that kept happening was that the bad guys were winning. How, you wonder? Well, no one who did anything questionable was punished. Think about it. Pinocchio was abused a lot, but his abusers all went on their merry ways without a care in the world. If we start to talk about all the scary things in this movie, this video might take forever. One scary part we can't get through our heads, though, is when Pinocchio tells Stromboli that he wants to return home to his father. What does the showman do instead? He locks up the poor puppet so he could put on more shows and make more money. Like that wasn't bad enough, Stromboli told Pinocchio that when he grows up, he'd turn the puppet into firewood. And just as he said that, he tosses an axe onto a pile of wood, where we find a puppet lying with all the firewood. The puppet didn't move and was just staring with unmoving eyes and a smile. It showed us that Stromboli only kept whatever he found useful. That was a lot to take in, even as adults now. If you think that what we've talked about so far is scary, it doesn't get any better from here. Now we're going to take a look at the scariest ape in Toy Story, a pervert who wants to have his way, and Belle's unwillingness to leave the beast. Number 7. Simple Monkey, Toy Story 3. Although Toy Story comes from Pixar, it was released by Disney. While the movies seem to be cute and fun, they all carry a dark theme of rejection, growing up, and dealing with being replaced. Every time the toys were just trying to stay alive, while all the people who used to love them just grew up and moved on. It was very sad. But even as we got used to these themes, we weren't prepared for the Simple Monkey in Toy Story 3. From its large beady eyes to the wide mouth with large teeth. Don't even get us started on the creepy sounds it makes. We were not ready for that. Number 6. A creep with no soul. In The Hunchback of Notre Dame, we meet the bad guy, Judge Claude Frollo, who is an archdeacon. As the story develops, we find that he is creepily attracted to Esmeralda. He even goes as far as threatening to kill her with fire if she didn't choose him. We see the menacing look on his face as he holds up a flaming torch to her face. Isn't this guy supposed to be with the church, you wonder? That's what we thought too, but it gets worse. In another scene, Captain Phoebus meets Frollo for the first time, and we see the thing that scares us for life. Frollo orders his guards to whip the former captain of the guard, but instead of just letting them do it the normal way, he tells the guard how to make each stroke worse. Ease up, he says. Wait between lashes, otherwise the old sting will dull him to the new. Not only does this command make Phoebus nervous, but it also showed us how dark and twisted Frollo was, and how he wasn't afraid to torment others for his own gains. Number 5, Stockholm Syndrome, Beauty and the Beast. Now, we're not going to be the ones who say that Belle and the Beast were a perfect match. No, he kept her in a cage against her will. But even when she got the chance to escape, she returned to him. Belle started to care for the Beast, even though she didn't have to. She believed she understood him better than anyone else. While that might seem like a heartfelt thing to do, it's really much darker than that. Sometimes people who are held against their will get too attached and don't know how to let go again. It's called Stockholm Syndrome, and Belle might have been a victim. That keeps us up at night. Number 4, Forest Monsters, Snow White. Snow White makes it into our list yet again. After the hunter couldn't bring himself to harm her, he told Snow White to run away, hide from the evil queen and never return. Snow White doesn't know what to do and just starts to run. She's terrified and runs into the woods, where she starts to see things through her tears. Even us viewers could not believe our eyes. Tree branches turning into grabbing hands, stumps turned into monsters with large eyes, and logs of wood turned to crocodiles. Too many things were happening at once. Starting now, things get serious. It's now time to look at one of the strongest bad guys in Disney, the Mad Witch of Sword in the Stone, and finally, little Burns changing into donkeys. Number 3, the Horned King, the Black Cauldron. The Horned King may be the strongest bad guy in all of Disney history. He's terrifying to look at. Even his own henchmen won't look at him. His plans to make an army that'll destroy the world make him even creepier. To do this, he needed the corpses of many people, so his own army is likely the dead loved ones of other people. That's sad. Knowing him, if he can't get enough corpses for his army, he may take to killing lots of people without caring. Number 2, Piggy, Madam Mim. In Sword in the Stone, Mad Madam Mim gives us the biggest fright of the show, so we see her playing cards alone at a table, which is never a good sign. Then a bird flies in and falls into her fireplace. Madam Mim picks it up and the bird begins to speak, telling her that he's a real boy who's become a bird because of Merlin, the greatest magician in the world. Madam Mim doesn't enjoy hearing that and starts to laugh, showing the bird that she was better than Merlin by making herself a giant, then as small as the bird. But the part that remains burned in our brains is when she said she could make herself uglier and pulled back her hair to reveal she turned her face into a pig's head. No thank you. Now on to the moment you've all been waiting for. Number 1, changing into donkeys, Pinocchio. The saddest and scariest part of Pinocchio was when the little boys started to grow donkey ears and bray like animals after getting to Pleasure Island. After they turned, they were taken to mines to work without food. Many of them died. Even though the boys are silly, they didn't deserve to be treated like that. We even got to watch Lampwick, Pinocchio's friend, die. He looked so tired from overworking. It was sad to watch. You could hear them crying for their mommies when they started to grow ears, but the bad coachman just throws them into crates. This part gave us a lot of nightmares as kids, and we still think about it now. This is pretty dark for a kid's cartoon, especially when you see that the coachman is never caught. Instead, he'll continue to go around the town capturing naughty boys to take to the island. Also, when Pinocchio manages to run away with Jiminy, none of them do anything about the other boys still stuck on the island as donkeys. It kind of just ends like that. That's too much for us. Tell us about the scariest things you found in a Disney movie in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon.